It's fine. Yeah, but yeah, you're welcome.
No,
I don't want it to be more question than comment.
No, there's no point in that, and because I'll tell you what, there's a huge write-up on Loka. If you can understand the whole of the Pali, it gives an entire thing, how Brahma Loka comes, how this Loka, what is this Loka, and what happens in that Loka, how the being will move from that Loka to this Loka and all that. Okay, so there is a complete, and then the Chakavala is the world cycle. So in every Loka, you have a world cycle, as simple as that. Whatever we call as a world is Loka. So eye is a world, ear is a world, nose is a world, tongue is a world, body is a world, and mind is a world. There are 6 worlds. In you, if you call me, there are 6 worlds. Like that, each person, in each person, in each person, in each person, each person, each person, like that. Each person, each being, each everything. So, Buddha says that to understand the Loka of this kind, you need to understand the Dhat, the quality. Okay. So, what happens here is that he says, I think you would, I'll just share. I don't have to share, I'll just tell you that. Which section and where I'm seeing it. Give me a minute or two and I should be able to tell you. So what he says is that it is in Uddupapada Dullava Katha. Yeah. This you won't have seen it. I'll share it to you. It is there in the Tripitaka. It's a huge one. Okay. And then he says that Tatha imasmim sattaloke okasaloke va sabbanyu samma sambuddho दुर्लभोव तथा हेसा लोको संखार लोको सत्तलोक उकासलोक तिप्प भेदो होती तेसम संपत्ति विपत्ति च एवं वेदितब्ब तथा लुज्जति पलुज्जति लोकोति वचनत्तेन सत्तलोको वेदितब्बो. That means what is loka is lujjati palujjati, integrates and disintegrates. So when you call a world cycle, it's combination of all the lokas into one and it will integrate, disintegrate. So when we say universe is expanding, that means it is lujjati, integrating. So it keeps on expanding. Then palujjati, it immediately contracts. So when the contraction starts, nobody can change it. That's contraction. Like now the scientists are saying it is expanding, universe is expanding. And we don't know why it's expanding. It just expands. Who expands, how it expands, we don't know. We can call that as a natural law of it, or God is doing it, or whatever it is, but that's okay. Then there's a concept of hollow earth. You can check on the internet. Hollow earth is that in 2 axes there is just space, there's nothing there. This is what Buddha says. What you see solid is no solid. So all of this are dimensions. So there are 14 dimensions. So unless you know or anybody knows the first dimension, second dimension, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like that, and then multitude of dimensions, that means length, breadth, height, only length, no breadth, no height, only breadth, no length and no height, only height, no length, no breadth, only length and breadth and height, then 3D, then 4D, like that. So 4 dimension, 5, 6, 7, like that. In each dimension comes loka. It's a very complicated thing Even if you were to say that, okay, I need to know, that's of no use, because you can't see a dimension. Now, what dimension are we seeing? We are seeing 2D, two-dimensional. What means we can see the length and we can see the height. We can't see the back. You can't see the back of yourself. So there's no 3 dimensions. You can only see 2 dimensions. You can see somebody from behind or from front, but you can't see yourself from the behind, from the front, from the side, from this side, from that side, every side. You can't. And ants and other things are one-dimensional. They just know the length. They don't have the idea of the height and the width. They have no idea. So we have height, width, and breadth. But we still can see 2-dimensional. Our array, our eyes can only perceive 2-dimensional thing. We can create 3-dimensional, but as an eye, unless you put that glass and make it 3-dimensional, there's nothing called 3-dimension in the eye. But there's still a loka. So Khandha itself is a loka. So what he says, Sankhara Loka includes the Khandhas. So Buddha alone can understand what is Rupa of everything, what is the Vedana of everything, what is the Sanya of everything, the Sankhara of everything. And then he knows the Sankharas, which are formations. We can call it as choice, formation, volition, preparation, whatever English term, we can throw it on that, and that's all what it is. Okay. So now the question comes, what's the difference, like you were asking about Satta Loka and Sankhara Loka, like even Bobby was asking. It would be sheer madness to think that those 2 are to separate and also 2 are the same. No. So what he says in the Satta Loka, he says that Tatha imasmim Satta Loka, Lokiyanti Patittahanti Yetta Satta Nikayati Vachanattena Okasaloka Viditabbo Tata Nirayam Tirachayoni Petti Visayo Asurakayo Iti Chasu Chatassu Apaya Bhumi Nama Manussa Chatu Maharajaka Tavatimsa Yama Tusita Nimmana Rata Paranimmana Nimitta Basavatti Cheti Satta Vidahoti Kama Sugata Bhumi Sapaniyam Ekadasa Vidhapi Kama Tanha Avacharati Yettati Vachanattena Kama Vachara Bhumi Nama Brahma Parisajja Brahma Purohita Mahabrahma Cha Patama Jhana Bhumi Idam Agina Parigahita Thanam. Meaning, in the Satta Loka, he starts defining what belongs to what. What do you mean by Apaya Bhumi? You know what happens, Ariu? The Loka gets formed. You can't see it. That Loka is in a dimension which your naked eye, this eye, cannot see it. But they are here only. Wherever you are sitting, it's just there. But you can't see it. That's the magic of dimension. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, even physics talks about, dark matter and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's taken for granted for me that there's many we cannot see. I guess my main curiosity from yesterday was regarding to this galaxy versus universe, this consciousness of this.
In Buddha Dhamma, there is nothing called galaxy. That's a funny word. We don't know what to call. And that is Chakavala. And we don't, because it goes in circle. So galactical means circling. So they also talk the same. So they use the word cosmos. And that cosmos word has come from Greeks. And cosmic is also from Greek. So what we use in English or in Greek or in Latin or some other Western world need not exactly tally with what is there in the Buddha. Oh, we can't do one-on-one mapping. So wait a second. When you say universe, uni is singular. What is verse? Can you tell me?
Turning or
Multi is, we understand, two, more than one is multi or multi. But what is uni?
converse? Is it? Look it up. Yeah, I know verse as, in writing, but I don't know what verse means in universe.
It's a sphere. When we say universe, it's one sphere. That's the reason they call it as hemisphere. We just put a sphere and say that it has an axis and a symmetry, and then we say that this axis and this like this, so we'll create a latitude and longitude and say that this turns at this point. Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking because previously I always thought there's one Buddha in the universe and all the things are here because the Sutta says they're all here. So I thought that, the world cycle is just the whole universe. But now you brought up these galaxies, I guess. I'm thinking because their matter is there because beings are there, right? That means wherever there's a lot of things.
That need not be. So that is Okasa Loka. So you're getting confused between the Okasa Loka and the Satta Loka. Satta Loka is where the beings enter. Okasa Loka is a thing. So galaxy is a thing. Planet is a thing. Inhabitants of a planet is Satta.
I guess I'm trying to make sense of what you said about each galaxy can have its own Buddha. What does that mean in terms of?
No, that's what he's saying in any world cycle. There can be only one Buddha. Now, if we can't understand that, park it off, because what he's talking is Chakavala, and not any person, sane person, without getting to a certain level can really understand what is Chakavala. And that's the reason when there is a recitation, they say Samanta Chakkavalesu. So they don't talk about Samanta Lokavalesu. It's Samanta Chakkavalesu. There's a world cycle. There's so many world cycles. It's infinite world cycles. What he's saying is, in a loka, that is, if you take a loka, which is within that Chakkavala, only one single Buddha can appear. There can't be two Buddhas appearing in the same loka. Okay, so you park it off because this is going to be a huge thing. So that's the reason.
That's what I thought. It's okay to wait.
It's just like, asking something. Somebody went and asked, show me this mountain. And then this big as a mountain. So why don't we climb it? And somebody said it's made out of grains. So if you try climbing it, you're going to fall down. Because it's just the sand thing, right? So just fast one. Yes, Bobby.
No, yeah, I also think the same way. I think it is beyond explanation to someone, because only a Buddha can know that. Because whenever I ask this question to any monk or something, I think there is no clear answer, because it is the interpretation of that particular word, and many world systems and many Sammasambuddhas around, or is it only one? So I don't think it is even. We can only interpret from the words of Buddha from the body, right? We can't actually see it or explain it or anything like that.
Okay, for all of you, I can give you one clarity on Sankhara Loka. Forget the Satta Loka, forget the Okasa Loka, but I can give you clarity on the Sankhara Loka, because there is Bahudhatu Sutta also is there. Bahudhatuka Sutta. Okay, so that would help, but otherwise I will recite and you can see what he says. Apicha khanda loka divasena cha aneka vido loko yatatha. That is, there are many of these. They are lokoti kanda loko, dhatu loko, ayatana loko, vipatti bhava loko, vipatti sambhava loko, sampatti bhava loko, sampatti sambhava loko, eko loko, sabbe satta aharatika, dve loko, namancha rupancha, tayo loko, tissa vedana, chattaro loka, chattara ahara, panchaloka, panchupadana, khanda chaloka, cha ajjatikani, ayatanani, sattaloka, satta vinyanatthayito, Attaloko, Attaloka Dhamma, Labocha, Alabocha, Yasocha, Ayosocha, Nindacha, Vasamsacha, Sukhancha, Dukhancha, Navaloko, Nava Sattavasa, Dasaloko, Dasa Ayatanani, Dvadasaloka, Dvadasha Ayatanani, Attarasa Loko, Attarasa Dhatuyo, Iti Imasmim Sankhara Loka. Now I read it out, so let me give it in English. Okay, what he's saying is that if you say what are the loka, he's starting from ahara. One loka is ahara loka. Sabbe satta aharatika is one loka. Namancha rupancha is two loka. Three vedana, sukha dukkha adukha sukha vedana is three loka. So each of them is sankhara. So he explains 18 of them. Meaning he explains till 11 and he says Attarasa Loka. It's 18. And that is there in Mahadhatuka Sutta. All of that taken together is called as Sankhara Loka. Okay. Now, we might say, what is there in Ahara? How does Ahara gets formed? It's formation, right? How does it know what kind of food should be given to whom? How does a lion know to catch this prey? How does an amoeba know I have to eat this? How does a plant know I should take this? Now this, since we don't know, I have to rely on God. You tell me, how does a grass know what to eat? Simple one. Just tell me how the grass knows how to find water. That's ahara. It finds. But who taught it? Now you tell me that. That is sankhara. The meaning of sankhara is to do something. So it knows. So it searches for water. Tree searches for water. Plant searches for water. All of this. And how does it know that this place, this flower has to bloom? It doesn't bloom in any other place. If you take that plant and then put it in some other place, it will not. Only that soil is required. How? Soil is a soil. That's okasa. But how does this plant know? I need to grow in this soil only. Only Buddha knows why this. So that's the reason he says, what I have given you is just to come out suffering. And I'm not going to answer to you if you again and again come back to me and ask, so sattava loko, asasattava loko, antava loko, anantava loko. I'm not going to answer to this. But he still is there. It's there. But it is so complicated that even if I were to do a complete study of it, I get to one problem. How does it know? See, now come to the second one. Ahara, at least we can find. How does the Vedana come to be? So he says phassa. Okay, you see this fun. Phassa, contact. How does the contact come to be? He says ayatana. You see this. He doesn't answer the question directly. He doesn't say who is creating that. He just says Patisamutpada. If this is there, this will happen. If this is there, this will happen. If this is there, this will happen. So he doesn't want people to get lost in this. Who is the doer? Because there should be someone doing that, right? See, Phassa Pache Vedana. There should be someone who is doing that contact, right? How can it happen by its own? So he will say Ayatana. Oh, good. How does Ayatana happen? So then Namarupa. Then what is it talking? Oh, okay, tell me what is Nama, how does Namarupa happen? Vijnana. Okay, tell me how Vijnana happened. Avidya, Sankhara. Boss, I will kill you. You started from Sankhara only. Yeah, because of Sankhara. How did Sankhara happen? Avidya. How did Avidya happen? Asava. That is Buddha. He doesn't get caught in absolute, non-absolute. Loka exists in this pattern. Silent. Yes, Manik. Yeah, Manik, you had a question? You are mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You can talk.
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay. So basically, the question what Buddha says you need to ask is, what is the cause of suffering? Don't worry about the loka. Loka is lujjati. Lujjati, palujjati. Integrates, disintegrates. Integrate, disintegrate. Doesn't matter where it is integrating, why it is integrating, why it is disintegrating, why it is expanding, why it is contracting. It's dukkha. Just go by that. Why? Because that doesn't add any value to you. Even if you were to know it, unless you're a Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, you can't know it anyway, any which way. So why waste your time in that? But that doesn't mean that you should know it. So he says, here is what is the definition for each one of them. If it is a Brahma Nikaya, the Kaya, the body, how it is formed? Aggi, by fire. Is effulgent, means just light. It has no other Patavi, Apo, Tejo. Tejo is there. Patavi, Apo, Vayu is not there. So they just shine. There's nothing else there. The being, like in this being, who is called as Vilas, portrays all the four in some properties. Sometimes the Patavi is more. Sometimes the Apo is more. Sometimes the Tejo is more. Sometimes the Vayu is more. What does that mean? What we call as a dry skin is nothing but the Patavi is more. So the skin starts to fall. So you need to do a sankhara using the khandas to put some sunscreen or this cream or that cream. You have to create it. But by nature, if it is Patavi predominant, the skin is going to fall off. So we named it dry skin. So you see that person, if he does like this, so much of dust will be there. He thinks it is dust. Each one of them is Vilas. Each one dust particle is Vilas, yes or no? In the same way, each shit which is coming from the anus is Vilas. Each drop of urine which is coming from the pipe of Vilas is Vilas. Yes or no? How it can become urine? It's Vilas only who is coming in water. It's Vilas only is coming in the skin. It's Vilas only coming everywhere because you are named body Vilas. So what will come out? Only Vilas comes out. What else will come out? So what we have done is we have defined a language which will give you life. Through language, you create life. How? He, she, it. He means male, she means female, it means thing. So when you make a language, you bring life to it. He did it. What? What did what? He did it. One sankhara doing another sankhara? You mean to say? Yes. One Phai-khanda did something, another Phai-khanda, and we call this he is talking to her. Or in a better way, that he is named as Bobby and she is named as May. So this he, Bobby, is talking to May. Now when you give that connotation, it turns into life. What turned to life? The Bobby came to life. Otherwise there is no life without that language. Got the point? Now you create subcategory. Bobby saw, Bobby heard, Bobby sensed, Bobby tasted, Bobby felt, Bobby did this, Bobby did that. Now you are framing it as though Bobby is real. But my dear friend, it's just Patavi. There is no Bobby, which is a Sankhara. So what Buddha says is, what stupid person are you, my dear friend? He says, Sabbe Sankhara Anicchati Yadapanyaya Pasati. You see this, my dear fool? Your Patavi is going away. Your Apo is going away. Your Tejo is going away. The Vayu is going away. How dare can you say, this is mine? That's your Loka, which is Lujjati Palujjati. It's integrating, disintegrating. Yes or no? So if somebody has a wet skin, oil. Dry skin means no oil. Wet skin means oil. So we call that as an oily skin. Till that is okay. Vilas, you have an oily skin. When did I put oil to make the skin oily? Or when did I make it to become dry? Right? From that token, we can see neither you are oily nor you are dry. You have got nothing to do with this. So your Sankhara are Samatha. So that is the Loka. What Loka? Oily skin is a Loka. So what should I do? I need to buy some product which will remove excess oil from the body. But each one of those drop of that oil is Vilas. Because Apo is predominant, then Patavi, then Tejo, then Vayu. So for this what happens, Goenka makes it very big and says Kalapa. So people go behind, I need to experience Kalapa. This is what Kalapa is. What else is Kalapa? What is predominant at this point in time? Patavi is predominant, or Apo is predominant, or Tejo is predominant, or Vayu is predominant. Now, when you're sweating means Tejo is predominant, behind is Apo, that behind is Vayu, that behind is Patavi. So Patavi is Manda. He uses the word Manda. Manda means too feeble. It's so much disintegrated that the water has spread out completely, washing it off. So what happens? The holes over here starts to water. Supposing there was a sponge and the sponge were looking like solid and it falls into the water, then what happens? It loses its solidity. Everywhere water starts to seep in. Isn't that the same happening when I say I'm sweating? I might give life to that I am sweating. You horrible person, you are not sweating. The sweat, the water is coming out of the hole, the space. Whom are you trying to convince that you are sweating? There's no sweating. You are not creating any sweating. It's because the Tejo has increased. Why did Tejo increase? Because there's motion. When there is motion, that means Vayu. So when the Vayu is there, it creates heat. So the heat got created. Heat got created. The so-called solid, like a candle, started to melt. So when it melts, water comes. Simple. So who is sweating? No one. When the water is oozing out. Aren't you feeling dirty? With so much of holes in the body. And what you are getting? What are you getting? Water. Okay, that's fine. But the germs will enter. This is the living beings. For them, it's a food. Ahara. So they feed the ahara. So they stick to the skin, start eating. They have sexual intercourse. They create babies. And those hatch. And they die. And when they die, it stinks. Now what you do? Take a perfume. Why? You don't know what to do next. Otherwise you're stinking. The body is stinking. Now, who are these people who are coming and eating? I didn't ask them to come and eat. Boss, you don't have to ask. That's their forest. So, sabbe satta aharatika. So now this is a sankhara loka. It comes in the moisture. There are moisture laden life. For them, this is the food. So they attack. Because the fat will come out from the skin. When the fat comes out of the skin, that is food. So the food which came from the plant is inside here. It comes out. So they attack. When they attack, they marry. They have their honeymoon. Then the baby comes. And they die. And when they die, everybody stinks. So wherever they are, starts to stink. Now you put water. Those beings will, their bodies will get out of your body. So the stink is gone. Make sense? That's how it is. So when you cut open the body to operate or whatever, what are you doing? It's the same thing. You're just the germs, the microbes. What we call as microbes is what? Living beings. So they come and devour. Yes, Bobby.
That means and we are carrying a lot of other beings also.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. Beyond doubt.
And all those beings cannot be enlightened. Only something. They all have separate consciousness, right?
Yes.
Because if you say that, for example, we have used this word, I'm trying for liberation. So that doesn't mean that or like so many beings are within me cannot be enlightened.
No, they have got nothing to do with you. They're just coming to eat the body. They are not here to get enlightened or get into darkness. They are here to just devour the body because that is food.
That itself is enough to understand that this is not real. This I is not real.
Yeah. See, that one another thing I wanted to talk, and then May has already put the Demodex is a kind of living beings who stay on your skin forever. Eyelids, inside the eyelids, inside the eyes, inside the nose, inside the ear, inside the anus. You know how many living beings are there? It's their colony. You're not alone. You're living in a colony of living beings. Yes, sir, you.
Yeah, I saw a number, and you may can correct this, but I saw a number that more than 50% of all the cells in the body, not in terms of weight, but in terms of number of cells, is from other living beings.
Exactly. Exactly. They are not yours. In fact, the germ cells are more than the human cells. And the gut microbes, what they call as probiotic, if they are not there, the person dies in instant. Because they have to cut the food. And they all are living beings, and they have their own loka. They are doing their own sankhara. Yes.
Is every bacteria have the sixth sense? Do each of them have the sixth
No,
sense?
it depends. It depends on that type. They have one, they have two, something have three.
But
Like
they
that.
all have a Hadeva too. They're all living beings.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Every bacteria.
Every damn living being is a living being. They live on your body. Inside.
We can be born again as one of these living beings
Absolutely.
in this own body or other's body again. My God.
That is why it is called Niraya. Bobby, you're carrying a truckload of microbes. Each one of us. When we go to the lavatory, if you had a way to see the microbes, you will really get. Now, what would happen to you? You will get freaked out.
Just by listening, I'm getting, my God, I'm getting this, and I have a chance to born as one of these beings. That makes me terrifying. But
Yes.
the only thing that makes me sad is that, I forget this after some time.
No,
And
that
then
is
get into
no.
normal activities.
That is the nature of everyone. This teeth, the amount of microbes around the teeth, nowhere else. And when you kiss your wife, just taken 50 million of them in your mouth. They all go and say, wow, man, come on, let's have a feast. Let's have a enjoyment, party.
That's why I stopped kissing.
Anyway, both are anatta. So there's no hurt there.
And that's the reason why Buddha says anatta. Because if you see, there's no person, man. It's just a colony of living beings. Come on. Come on, my dear friends. Don't get so worked up that is my body. There's no concept of your body. It's just a colony. Just a colony of shit. You're saying it's my body? And why do we scratch here? Because those thing what May sent, right? They reside everywhere. So when they move, they tickle. And when they tickle, you have a Vedana. And they go inside.
So am I killing them by doing that?
No, they run away. The moment you do like this, they run away. So they go here and again they come back. Wherever there's oil, they eat on oil.
But sometimes if they don't run away, I put my finger on. They're very small, right? They can die also. No chance.
You will die. Well, they will not die. Don't worry.
They not die.
They know how to survive. Why do you get pimple? So let's understand that. There is, under the skin, there's oil gland. It goes deep. So its job is to pull out the complete, nutriment. Oil is a nutritious thing. If you don't know, there are two things: proteins and oils. Proteins are very much required. It's a building block. Okay, and oil. So when a microbe enters, it is in search of oil. It doesn't want anything. All it wants is that nutrient. So while eating the nutrient, it dies. And when it dies, the cells will try to remove it and get stuck in the oil. So then you have a blister, because that's the only way it can come out. So when it comes out, it becomes a blister like this, and it's opened. And the microbe of that kind will enter inside to eat, but it will die in the process. So then you get a pimple. So if I were to kiss somebody's cheek, I'm eating all of that. But that becomes panatipata, not by choice. Not that you intended, because you didn't even know there were so many microbes. So when they enter saliva, they die instantly, because saliva is a poison for them. So when a person has a dry teeth, dry tongue, and if the mouth is dry, what it means is that the microbes in the mouth are eating away the gums. The person starts to lose the gums. So when he loses the gum, it becomes the teeth becomes shaky. Why? Because dry mouth. Saliva kills microbes, if you didn't know that. So the mouth bacteria who are residing in the food, when they don't want to enter into the gut, because they get killed instantaneously. So what they do, they survive in your esophagus region. So they just come out and start devouring all the food particles which are there in the mouth. So when we brush the teeth and we flush it out, there's no food left for the microbes. And hence when we wake up, we stink. The mouth stinks, because what has happened? Two microbes mated. Kids came out. They shat in your teeth. And they licked it. And they died. And that stink of millions of bacteria, you are using fluoride to remove them. So when it is removed, so many of them live and dead will fall down. So then Panatipata. So now they're gone there. The sink has millions of bacteria now. Not only yours, somebody's already brushed, that is there. Somebody brushed, that is there. Now they have made a colony there. It's a food. So then when you put water, it's a floods for them, just like a human being on a flood. So they try to survive, and they can't survive. They die in an instant. Again, go back to this loka, which is moisture laden. They are in the moisture. So once the proper environment comes, they again come back. So who are you? Just a bunch of microbes. That's it. In that we like husband and wife and kid and this and that. Wow. This is called delusion. And then you have an affair and a sexual intercourse and all of that. That's the reason Buddha calls Gamma Dhamma. What a villager are you? Where are you? And just, Bobby, if I flush and my wife sits, the microbes are still there, live, waiting to get inside. So the next person who goes from the anus, they enter. Your point, maybe your daughter, it doesn't matter. For them, microbe is microbe. Maybe your wife, doesn't matter. Another thing, farting. When you fart, so many bacteria just emit out at once. And let's say the person sitting next, he's taken it in his nose. Enter. Now what it does, you don't know. Anatta. You have no idea what it does. It might do something, it might not do anything. We don't know. How many living beings are there only in this much portion of the skin? If you were to take a microscope and just scan it, you'll freak out. Just open up your teeth, you see the microbes. My God, it's horrible. In this much of portion, at least 20, 30 will be just floating around. As soon as you eat, they are also there. Okay, another thing. Take pizza. Go to the microscope and keep it for 10 minutes and see what happens. Will you ever eat pizza again? Before you could even touch it, so many microbes are attacking it. Because it has...
From where they're coming?
From the moisture. That's a loka. See, there are three loka.
They are everywhere. They are already everywhere.
There are three loka. So that's the reason in the Metta Sutta he says Patavichara, one walking on the earth. Apochara, that is on the water. Then Akashachara. That means one on the space. So in the space there is moisture. What we call humidity. Let's take that. Humid means what? Apo, predominant, Tejo, Vayu, Patvi. Hot weather means what? Tejo, Apo, Vayu, Patvi. Cold weather means what? Tejo, Patvi, Apo, Vayu. So I'm feeling cold means what? It's condensing. So the Patvi is becoming more Patvi. When it becomes more Patvi, it should bring in shivers. Why? Because it has to heat up. It's getting cold. So the Patvi is becoming more and more because it's slow. It just keeps on integrating. So you have to have a warm thing. So when you wear a warm thing, the Tejo comes up, Patvi, Vayu, Apo. So you'll not sweat. And the body will not sweat, not you, the body. The body is made up of only these four. So somebody wants to do Dhatu meditation, he has to go to this level. What is predominant? What is predominant? What is predominant? Then he gets Nibiddhaya, Viragaya, Nirodhaya, Upasamaya, Abhinyaya, Sambodhaya, Nibbana. Say, boss, enough. I had it. Can't take it any longer. That is one loka. What I just now spoke is just one loka. Like that, so many loka, and each one in a chakavala. So it's an amazing thing. Yes, Sari.
So in this case, the Chakavala is more symbolic, right? This person you can see as a,
As a
universe,
chakavala,
right?
as itself a chakavala.
Like what you're saying.
Yes, right. So that's what Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhamma Munirajasa Sunantu Soggamoggadam. Now you can say Parita Savanakala if you are doing Parita chanting, or Dhamma Savanakala if you are doing discourses. Because what are you calling is one who is rid of this dirty body, filthy, microbe driven shit. In water, there is microbes. In air, there is microbes. In land, there is microbes. In temperature, there is microbe. In space, there is microbe. And this body is made out of microbe. Okay, so today we'll not take DN25. We will take it day after tomorrow. So today, all thanks to Aryu. I was thinking I should do it because then making him wait till US visit seems to be really unreasonable. So yesterday after talking to him, I felt I shouldn't do this to Aryu. I thought today I will do it.
I wasn't paying full attention to the beginning.
What's that?
I wasn't paying full attention to a lot of the things you mentioned in the very beginning. I'll see if I can re-listen.
Today?
Yeah, today. I was a little distracted.
Okay, no worries. Bhavana ji, how did you feel? There's some new people, so let's ask them.
Yeah. No, I was just listening to the discourse, like it is so simplified and said. Maybe I'm understanding it. But what is the use of all these things? The way we are living, the way we are saying all the things. So it seems like we are thinking a lot of unnecessary things.
Yes.
That was what it came to my mind.
It's a bag filled of pieces, which microbes only can devour. And we are devouring it.
Yeah.
And then we identify, I am this, I am that, I am sitting here, I'm standing there, I'm doing this. My God, what a foolishness.
But still we have to live with all these things, and something happens and then we get disturbed.
Yeah, we have to live with it. I'm not saying we shouldn't live with it, but we should know what is inside us. And that is why you get nibbidda, ni plus bidda. Bidda means illusion. Nibbidda is disillusion. Now you see microbes. They feel, come on, give me a break. Why am I here in this torture? And it's their world. It's not my world. It's their world. It is they who are devouring it. I don't have anything to do with it. Yeah, May, go ahead.
The thing is, people shouldn't be also stressing about it, can't sit there freaking out about it, because this being already lives in harmony with all these microbes. I mean, we've got something called fecal transplantation, where you're actually getting microbes from somebody else's healthy microbe to put in it. So it needs these microbes. We just don't realize that this body is also a landmass for other beings.
Yes, absolutely. Just like you have parks or vegetation and all that, this is a vegetation for microbes. this body is just a vegetation. These hairs are grass, actually, but they look black instead of green. This skin is a grass, so you can take a mowing machine and mow it down, and then you see no grass grown here. And that's it. And on the head, again, everywhere it's the same. Below, above, behind, from whichever direction. If you see, the grass is growing. In a foolishness of the mind, the person sees this filth, that is the grass, as something he shouldn't have or she shouldn't have, and tries to take it out, thinking they will get a smooth skin, not realizing the skin by itself is not smooth. If you have oil, it starts to slide. Because oil, if you touch, it slides. So when it slides, it seems to be smoothened. But there is no smooth skin. Skin is rough. And skin is hard as well. So when you put oil, it starts to slide. And by nature, you will get oil. So the more the oil, the more the microbes. The less the oil, the less the microbes. Because dry skin means like a dry wasteland where nothing can grow. So that being cannot come and eat. In this nice bushy thing what I have, microbes can come and devour. If they can't devour with Aryu, because he has not many hairs, that means his grass is not much. So, yeah, not much. Whereas my grass and Bobby's grass, Bobby is also growing the grass here. So the microbes are very happy. Oh my goodness, I get a nice chance to come and eat. So they keep on devouring. But there's nothing wrong. We need to know it's not your body. That's it. Nibbidha. That brings in virag because it's not yours. Yes, go ahead, Aryu.
Yeah, I was just thinking that that's also one reason, like the purification of the being, like a person takes time because the inertia not only come from your will, but also the influence of all these other beings, right? Let's say I say I'm hungry. It's not just I'm hungry, but all these beings want to eat, and all these beings want to enjoy in this way, that way. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So it's their world. It's their world, not my world. I've got nothing to do with it. I'm just a witness of microbes coming and devouring and going. Yes, Manik, you have a question or you wanted to say something because your hands is raised? No? Okay. Supriya, anything you want to say?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
कल से मुझे एक प्रश्न था कि जिस तरह से कल बात हुई थी कि सिद्धार्थ गौतम के बारे में पूछना चाहूंगी मैं कि जब उनका जन्म हुआ तो कुछ 8 ब्राह्मण थे जिन्होंने बोला था कि ये चक्रवर्ती राजा बनेंगे, लेकिन उनमें से एक ब्राह्मण ये था कि वो श्योर थे कि ये चक्रवर्ती राजा नहीं बनेंगे, वो वैरागी ही बनेंगे। और असित मुनि जी भी उनको देख के वही बोले। तो मैं ये आपसे जानना चाहती थी कि वो कौन से उनके शरीर पे ऐसा कौन सा साइन था कि वो उन्हें पहचान चुके थे कि ये बुद्ध ही बनेंगे।
पैर फुट।
अच्छा,
चक्र है
जी।
वो इसमें है ना, लखन सुत्ता, 32 parts of the Buddha। उसमें दांत के लेकर सब कुछ बताते हैं।
जी।
So her question was that how did the 8 Brahmins when Buddha was born could say that he will become a king, and one of them said that he will not become a king, he will become a recluse, or what was the indication? So I told her that it is through the legs, because the legs have circles. And circle means both a Chakravarti or a recluse. And he told he will never be a Chakravarti, he will be a recluse. Okay, so shall we end for today on the Loka? And the remaining Loka I'll show to you when I'm there in US, Ariu. Okay. Good night and see you tomorrow. Not tomorrow, we will meet day after tomorrow.